And in the UK, the plunge in the US crude oil below zero knocked down the commodity-heavy FTSE 100, with oil majors BP plc and Royal Dutch Shell falling about 3% each. Let's bring in Juliana Olayinka from our London studios to tell us more. Good afternoon, Juliana. It's good to see you. Now, before you get into the market numbers, let's begin with fresh data released today from the Office of the National Statistics, showing that UK unemployment rose to 4% before the coronavirus crisis. However, the Minister for Employment says the UK economy has strong foundations which will help as it faces the economic shock of the coronavirus. Did she actually give more details on these strong foundations?
Good afternoon, Bissy. Well, the Employment Minister didn't give any further details. It was just a brief statement. But I believe overall this information that's come out of the labour market has almost been hailed, and that's really because, of course, it isn't showing the impact of COVID-19. As soon as Boris Johnson told people to stay at home and shut down the service industry, once we get that statistic next month, the employment data is going to look particularly different. Unemployment remains unchanged, hovering around about 4%, although if you look a little bit deeper, it does show that last month over 22,000 people became unemployed. The reason why it's almost being held as a strong labour data is because there were some estimates that it could have been as high as 172,000, and of course that's way short of that, although we do know that over 1 million people have applied for universal credit. So this time next month, those data is going to look completely different. One of the other headlines is about employment growth. Now, vacancies that were available have sincerely declined. There were 52,000 less vacancies online in the 3 months to February, and that has really worried investors. But at the moment, it seems as if we're a little bit safe because we haven't gone into that bombshell employment month, which is going to kick off next month.
Well, that's good to know, Juliana. So tell us, how are the markets reacting to the labour data?
Well, of course, because of the historic oil plunge from last night, we started off in early trading in losses to the triple-digit figures. As soon as this labour market came out at about midday, the FTSE All-Share lost about 75 points. At intraday, the FTSE All-Share is down 1.75%. The FTSE 100 is down 1.78%, and the FTSE 250 is down by 1.59%. In currencies, the pound is also down on the dollar by 0.93%, down on the euro by 0.64%, and down on the Japanese yen by 1.14%.
One last question, Juliana. Now, the UK insurance industry has formed a steering committee to work with government-backed terrorism reinsurance fund pool to develop a pandemic cover. What is this going to entail?
Well, what it's going to entail is just basically better coverage for customers in the future if the world ever faces another global pandemic. Of course, we're hoping that doesn't happen, but it's highly likely. And I think the insurance companies, particularly in the UK, have come up pretty stung. Just last week, the Financial Conduct Authority, they're the financial market regulator here in the UK, and they did write a pretty strong letter to insurance companies saying that, of course, if it's not in the small print, you don't have to pay out, but you have to treat your customers fairly, because they had been coming under increased criticism that they were just not responding to their clients, giving them really kind of vague answers, and people were in trouble. Of course, there are government bailouts, but now leaders in the insurance company, they just want to be equipped to rewrite some of their policies, to be better prepared, to have more information. And as they did say in a statement, they do want to pay out customers if they feel that they can help. They're working with one of the world-class financial restructuring firms who are sitting in on this steering committee. They've already had a meeting last week. They'll have several meetings in the weeks to come so they can be better prepared for, dare I say, another coronavirus, Bissy.
Many thanks, Juliana, for these updates. We'll see you again tomorrow.